today we are going to discuss the linear programming model, which in short we can say what the LP model. It's a mathematical programming technique to optimize the performance of what a product. So there are two main approaches used in solving the LP model. The most common approach is the simplest method approach, and the second aspect is what the graphical approach. The graphical approach is used in cases where only two decision variables are involved. Example is what we have here. Only two decision variables are involved. So there are two major objectives in what performing the LP module. The one aspect of it is to maximize what the profit of what a product within the industry. And the second aspect is to what to minimize the cost of what the product. So today we are going to discuss the graphical method with this particular question in front of us today. So in solving the LP model, there are certain rules that we need to consider. The first aspect is for us to convert all inequalities to what? An equal sign, okay? So all inequalities to an equal sign. So that means that we have what? X1 plus what? 2x2 to be equal to what? 10, okay? And the second aspect is to set these parameters, one of them to 0. So assuming we set x1 equals 0, what will be the result on what? X2. So x1 is equal to 0. If we have x1 to be equal to 0, what will be the effect on x2? So let's put in, so we have 0 plus 2x2 is equal to 10. That means that our x2 will be equal to what? 5, okay? So x2 is equal to 5. Now, let's assume another case where we set the value of x2 to be equal to what? 0. So we have here to be 0. Then x1 will be equal to 10. So if x2 is equal to 0, then x1 is equal to 10. Now let's move on to the next constraint. So the next constraint is what? 6x1 plus what? 6x2 should be equal to what? 36, okay? We have converted the inequalities into an equal sign. So now, if we set x1 to be equal to 0, what will be the result? So we have what? 6x2 to be equal to 36. That means that the value of x2 is now equal to what? 6. So if x1 is equal to 0, then it means that x2 will also be equal to what? 6. We realize that this one is 60, so if we set the value of what? X2 to be equal to 0, x1 will also be equal to what? 6. Okay. Once we have 2 points, then we can proceed in what? In drawing what? Our graph. So let's do that. Okay, so this is my graph here, and then my rule, okay? Now, the first aspect is what? We said when x1 was equal to 0, we had the value of what? X2 to be equal to what? 5, okay? So let's do that. So when x1, so let me label my axis here. I have this one to be x1, and then I have this one to be what? X2. So when x1 is equal to 0, so here x1 is equal to 0, x2 will be equal to what? 5. So x2 will be equal to 5. X2 will be equal to 5. This is it, okay? Now, when x2 is equal to 0, x1 is equal to 10. So at a point where x1 is equal to 10, x2 is equal to what? 0 at that point. So this is it. Now we draw our graph to pass through that, okay? Okay. So I'm setting in my graph. Okay. So I will now draw the line to pass through that nicely. Okay. So let's look at the other aspect, okay? Let me go up. Now, at a point where we set what? Our x, when x, this one is equal to 0, the other one will be equal to 6, okay, respectively. So let's go and draw that. So that means we have this, if x1 is equal to 0, x2 will be equal to 6. Let me use another color. X2 will be equal to 6. And then if this one is equal to 0, this one will also be equal to what? 6. Okay. So we also draw the graph nicely to pass through that. Draw to pass through beautifully. Okay. So this is what I have here. And the last aspect, let me go to the top and check the last one. The last one is saying that what? The value of x1 is equal to 0. So the value of x1 is equal to what? 4. Sorry. The value of x1 is equal to 4. We are converting all into an inequality sign. So the value of x1 is equal to 4. Okay. Okay, so this one is equal to 4. Okay, beautifully drawn. Okay. Okay. So that's my graph. Now the next thing is for us to go and check the inequality signs that we have. So realize that what? All of them are less than in nature. That means among all the lines that we have drawn, the less than aspect of it is where what we can what get our feasible region. Okay. So let's go in. That means that our graph should point what? Downward. That means that it should what? Point this way. It should go this way. That is what we mean. This one should come this way. This should come this way. It shouldn't be what? Greater than it. You get it? So it is less than constraint. Okay, so let's do that. So now you realize that if we are to take this particular region, this one will not get involved. This line will not be involved. And then similarly, if we are to take this region, this one will be involved, but then this one will not be involved. So we have to look at the regions under which all constraint to what will be satisfied. And that is the only when we have this particular region. So for this, realize that this line fall within this, so it should be here. So this region is what actually what our feasible region. So and these are the points. These are the points. These are the points. So I can name it. I can have A here, B here, C here, D, and then finally I have my what? My E. Okay. And this is what my feasible region. I can just do it like this. So my feasible region, let me just write that briefly. Feasible, okay. Feasible region. Okay. Now after that, what are we going to look at? We are going to look at the points that give us what? The feasible region. So in doing so, I'll come here. Now, okay. So let's take the value of A and look at the corresponding parameters. So if you look at A, the parameters we have under A is what? 0, 0. A is what? 0, 0. So we just write x1 is 0 at that point and x2 is also 0. If you put into the equation, you have 4, 0 plus 5, 0. That will give us what? 0 here. Now let's go. So we move on to B. Under B, so where is B? Very good. So realize that under B we have the value of what? X1 to be what? 4, right? And then I can also say that what? The value of x2 is 0. So x1 is 4. x1 is 4. And then x2 is what? 0. So let's put it into the equation. So 4 times 4, that will give us what? 16. And then plus 5 times what? 0. That will give us what? 16. Okay, so let's move on to C. Where is C? This is our C. So realize that in our C, we have the value of x1 to be what? 4. So we have the value of x1 to be 4. The value of x2, let's trace the value of x2. See, the value of x2 is what? 2. So we just put in 2 here. Now, if you multiply 4 by 4, that will give us 16 plus 5 plus what? 2. 5 times 2. So 4 multiplying what? X1. And we know that x1 is 4 here. Plus what? 5 multiplying x2. And here we have the value of x2 to be 2. That will give us 16 plus what? 10. And that will give us a corresponding value of 26. So we have the value of 26 here. So let's move on to D. This is D, right? Now if you move on to D, realize that what? The value of what? X1, D. The value of X1 is 2 at that point. Let's trace it down. Down, 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 down is 2. And that of what? X2. So let's go and look at X2. The X2 is what? 4. So we have 4 here. That means that what? We have what? 4. We have 4 X1, which is what? 2 plus what? 5 multiplying X2. And we know that the value of X2 is actually what? 4, right? 4 times 2 give us what? A corresponding value of 8. And then 5 times 4, that will give us what? 20. So we'll get a corresponding value of what? 28. So our 28 here. Value here. Sorry. This value was actually 25. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So let's look at E, okay. Let's look at E. Okay. So E, the value of X1 under E, X1 is 0. And that of the X2 is what? 5 here. You can see that. So 5. So that will give us what? 4 multiplying 0. Oh, sorry. That will give us 4 multiplied by 0. And then 5 multiplying what? 5. So that will give us 25. Okay. So after that, we look at the what? The maximum value. Because we are talking about what? Maximization, okay. So since we are talking about maximization, we will look at the maximum value. Here, realize that the maximum value is actually what? D, right? And then its corresponding values are what? 2. So that means the value of X1 is what? 2. The value of X1 is equal to 2. And that of the X2 is equal to what? 4, okay. And then finally the Z, the result of it is giving us what? 28. So this is the parameters that will give us what? The optimum solution within the industry, and it's going to help us to what? To achieve our maximization. Thank you, and we are going to meet in our next class where we'll be talking about what? Minimization under graphical method.